However, LTA North specifically, the one time it went through was the other day in the C900 Thieves series.
Yep.
Hey! He's here! He's
What?
watching the games!
That was
And we
fun.
haven't
To a
called the
fan that flew
LAPD!
3,000 miles?
We haven't called the police!
Looks suspiciously like Pingus, just saying.
What do you, just because he's bald? Okay, that just sounds like baldest sentiment.
But hold on, real quick. FlyQuest is continuing to keep their spirits high. Let's take a listen.
I heard there was a secret quad.
Secret quad?
But you don't really care for quadu, do ya?
Shut the fuck up.
yeah!
Oh, yeah!
Quadu, do
Quadu-do-ya. Quadu-do-ya.
Okay. Great harmony.
Quadu-do-ya.
Okay.
Quadu-do-ya. That's an excellent cook.
That's insane!
Oh
That's
my
insane!
God. It's so funny at how progressively embarrassed Squad is getting as well. You know what it reminds me of is actually the Flash Wolves. Like, I know Sniper came on initially, talked about the good vibes on 100 Thieves. I think as we see the Merry Quadmas sign in the crowd, FlyQuest have great vibes too.
Actually, it reminds me of, and you were there in that moment, Season 2 Worlds, CLG EU, Eye of the Tiger.
Oh
it's the
my
will.
God.
Oh my God.
Just like, it's the vibes. That's all that matters. People talk about it from
I
100 Thieves
prefer to
side.
remember Flash Wolves.
What were they singing?
They sang during every draft. I don't know, it was in Mandarin.
And
I
you don't
think-
even remember the song. I'm telling you the exact
Rez,
song.
you know more Mandarin than me. Anyway, we see Vi locked in for River, a pick that he's been really stellar on throughout his career.
And FlyQuest taking no chances. I was going to wonder if they just were locked into these three red side bands, Yone, Pantheon, Azir, not wanting to give any of them over as a first pick. But that ultimately does mean you have to give over the Vi. It's already been set up as well. 100 Thieves has banned Poppy both games because River doesn't, I feel like River just absolutely hates playing against Poppy because it actually catches him out when he's in stupid spots.
Yeah.
So they banned that and picked Vi.
It ruins those flanks he wants to go for. But this does set up the Vi Taliyah trade, right? Taliyah is something that we've seen Quad have a lot of success on, and the Xin Zhao locked in for Inspired.
Few options here for AD carry side. Lucian and Nami is available. Varus is still picked, but there are some teams that are just apparently anti-Varus. Bard gets picked away from Busio for the entire series. I wanted everyone to know. Busio will not have it.
We will not see the Busio Bard.
Yep, they're just going for the big flank team comp again. This is what they do. So they got Aurora, 99% chance that's going mid. Bard ults flying in from anywhere, and then River with flanks on by.
Yep.
Dhokla very much said that he thinks that Aurora top is fake.
Yeah, he does not believe in the Aurora top.
Oh,
And
okay,
Bwipo
Bwipo.
willing to blind pick the Sion here. He's very willing to do this against a lot of top laners, but I also do like it when you're up against those three picks already because 100 Thieves is already into, we need to flank and burst. It's very unlikely they have enough sustained damage to kill Sion.
They just love FlyQuest. What can I say?
They love them.
They love FlyQuest. And also, if you see the Aurora, not a tank killer, so you're going the Sion pick anyways. So,
my goodness.
Great job there. I think we all love FlyQuest. Okay, let's see what's going on in the second phase, guys. Crying again.
Oh my God. This is the second time. It's the second time this weekend that you cry laugh.
Yeah.
Things that'll get me.
Destroyed.
Wow, okay. We see the Renekton and the Gwen taken out. I was actually thinking that the answer that they're probably going to go towards is Aatrox, which is kind of something we see as well into the Sion. But the Renekton and Gwen taken out, as well as Karma, and then we'll see what that final pick is going to be, potentially taking away some other strong leaning options for FlyQuest.
So I also just got some news that Busio has injured his finger.
What?
And they're running him a Band-Aid on stage, so we might pause the game at the start
happened?
so he can apply the Band-Aid.
What the hell happened?
We don't know.
This is the sabotage that needs to be happening for FlyQuest to lose.
I just want to know what is there that, like, how do you injure yourself from
Keyboard is
what
too
we have
sharp.
available?
One of our producers says maybe he's clicking too hard.
That could be a thing.
What?
You never know.
He's too dedicated
He's applying
to
the
the game.
Band-Aid right now.
That's amazing. Hey, he's doing it during the draft just to cut the time.
Pick the simple champ in Alistar just because of the injured finger.
That's actually such a beefy front line in Alistar Sion. I mean, technically Xin Zhao as well just because of ulti, but that is going to be hard to deal with. You do need some level of tank busting from 100 Thieves side.
especially with what 100 Thieves like to do and what they already set up with this first rotation.
They're already starting with busting Busio's fingers, so maybe something else could work.
The Cassante coming through for Dhokla.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
now
a
they
cute
need the
river
80 carry
sign.
pick. It's wondering if they want it something that locks with their dive comp or if they want a chance of killing Sion. I think
Yeah.
Kai'Sa's interesting here. Kai'Sa Bard isn't a great combo.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
just the
are.
Senna.
They are still going to
Can
go
still
with the
help with
Senna.
the dive with the Senna ult.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, Senna is something, again, we talked about it yesterday. Really strong pick for FBI historically. Really strong pick for FBI literally just yesterday.
yep. And so the tank busting is going to be the tough one.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be a big issue. But if their focus is just to kill Taliyah or whoever the last pick is going to be, good luck, Massu. You are going to be the target. Is it going to be Corki? Is it going to be, okay, Varus. So it's going to be Varus.
Yeah.
Recognizing that that's going to be the risk. So good luck, Massu. This game is dedicated to getting on top of your head and probably taking you out.
Yeah, but I mean, they have so much peel and frontline for him. This is, like, if I'm the Varus, I'm like, okay, I have a team comp that can help me succeed. Raz, which comp do you like better?
I like FlyQuest comp.
Yeah, same. I think 100 Thieves got exactly what they wanted, though.
Yeah, I think they got exactly what they wanted. The comp is very much them, and every time I go against their composition,
Same.
you know, I'm wrong.
Same.
It's just-
Grayson comes in, he's like, guys, you didn't believe in my comp.
Yes.
What's up?
But I love FlyQuest comp. Everybody here tends to love FlyQuest. I'm asking the casters, do you guys love FlyQuest?
Yes, Raz, we love FlyQuest here in North America, but I think the question that we
Especially when
have,
they're beating G2-3-0.
looking at this, yes,
I also love 100 Thieves.
yes,
Yeah.
100 Thieves has been doing great. A lot of
love
people are
everyone
loving what
who
we're
beats
seeing from
G2
100
3-0.
Thieves. But I will say that our concern here on the caster desk, looking at the 100 Thieves comp, is where's the damage going to come from to get through this front line?
Yeah, I mean, Sion, Alistar, as well as Zhao are going to be pretty tough to knock down. The same can be said, though, on the other side, you know, Taliyah as well as it's going to be poke Varus. So that could be difficult to get through Cassante because it's not actually on-hit Varus for Massu. But there are a lot of squishy targets besides the Cassante. So we'll see, you know, can 100 Thieves be able to pull it off? Because as much as you want to talk about front to back, and that's kind of how a lot of people evaluate comps, Quid plus River, that is a really deadly combo as far as how you're going to dive, as far as how you're going to put pressure on the back line.
Yeah.
Flyo comes in, you are CC'd, that means you cannot miss Aurora QE, and that means you are losing a whole lot of your health, if not all of it.
Whoop. Your first piercing arrow misses. That's not a good sign.
Oh,
0 for
no.
1.
0 for 1 at level 1 here.
Or are you getting your misses out of the way first?
Oh, okay. Just
You're
chalking it up
unloading
to the. All right, yeah, we're getting the duds out of the quiver. That way, all of the good ones are going to fly straight. Okay, that's what we're looking at here. FBI running Ghost on his Senna in this game as well. So double mobility summoner spells here for the 100 Thieves AD carry. Electrocute for Ayla's Bard, too. So no summoner spellbook, extra laning power instead.
Yeah, this is exactly what FBI ran yesterday, and he was stacking that Senna game way faster than our average Senna stacking. He was insane on the stacking speed. He also got super fed and super rich. So
Right.
He had the
That helps.
best of both worlds. He had a lot of gold and a lot of souls.
Yeah, they had some bloody team fights where he picked up like 10, 15 souls, it felt like. So it was pretty crazy.
And also what they did, you know, is pick it into a melee support, but also they lane swapped to get him even more stacks off of the enemy melee top laner. So we shall see if 100 Thieves try and do some similar stuff.
Okay, while we're waiting to see the action really kick off, we've got Jat standing by with 100 Thieves Coach Golden Glue.
Thanks. I was on the game, but I got to ask you about the first game, how much of a banger that was, and also with how momentum-based 100 Thieves has been. How's the vibes after narrowly losing?
I mean, I'm hoping we don't overreact. That's the one thing we kept telling them about the game, because it was a close game. We came down just a couple dragon fights. We had a lead. I mean, I think the guys are still going to be, you know, playing strong, and I don't know. It was a crazy game. I was very shocked with how all the team fights and how basically they kept coming from so many different angles. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it was an insane game. Also, this is your third best of 5 in 3 days. How's the fatigue like for you and the guys?
I don't know. I actually was pretty happy with the energy levels that we had into game 1. I feel like everyone. I mean, this is kind of the pinnacle, right? We've come all the way from it. Oh,
Call it.
oh, no, that's fine. They just use flash. I mean, you can tell, like, I feel like people are playing pretty loose. Like, and even level 1, all the summoners were burnt bot lane level 1 last game. So I think both teams are playing pretty loose. It doesn't feel that tense.
Great. have to ask you about the draft. What needs to go right for this draft to win?
I think this game, I mean, I think Senna can stack infinitely versus this comp. I think that we also, our early game, we should have push bottom like you can see here, so we can go for an early swap and get the early lead that way. And then just looking for bottles on the mobile carries and making sure we don't overextend when we go in. Yeah.
All right, appreciate you taking the time, Golden Glue. Back to casters.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that is great, you know, a lot of pros will talk about picking Senna into Sion comps, because oftentimes you can get in this lane swap situation where you can then just farm souls for free off the Sion, who is relatively low threat. There's a lot of kind of lower range and melee champions in there for him to farm up off of, but pretty spicy early game down on that bot side. Busio looking for the Q flash and knocking FBI back on the tower, but FBI did not have tower aggro, had not hit them in that moment, so they ended up being A-okay.
Yeah, that's benefits. They were so pushed in that there were plenty of minions there still to tank up the tower. And then off of the early push that they got, he got to get his recall off and head back to lane here with the boots. And he's going to have CS lead here afterwards too. They get the interrupt on the team too. So that is going to kind of desync here a little bit.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about scrims and how to scrim and kind of a lot of back and forth. This originally started, there was a pros episode where the coaches were all talking about, and DeMonte, kind of was talking about how FlyQuest played scrims. And Bwipo definitely took exception to how people have been talking about their scrimming and how they play, whether or not they should be playing out games where they're behind or FFing or remaking and so on. But he has clearly felt that, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, we're the top dogs. I don't care how we scrim. If you wanna show us that we're doing it wrong, beat us on stage, right? And there has been a lot of, I will say, like, heat around this topic these last couple weeks.
And Dhokla taking some damage up here, though. His Pathmaker should be able to get him far enough away. Piercing arrow there from Massu. Oh, thought about it. That rain of arrows forcing the flash out of Dhokla, who thought he might have just been on the edge and didn't want to give first blood over to the FlyQuest AD carry. So free summoner spell up there for FlyQuest.
Yeah, the extra sidestep there, trying to dodge the arrow, but then still took the arrow damage and lost the distance from not just running away straight and trying to actually dodge. And so good follow-up from Massu. He's like, okay, fine. You tried to dodge that and I hit you. That gives me enough to threaten lethal here with the rain of arrows. And so getting the flash out of Dhokla for their aggression.
Yeah. And when you're that low, it is so scary to not instantly flash when you see any sort of animation, right? Because sometimes they can just go for a flash auto that might be able to finish you off. And if you're not instantaneously flashing before that animation starts, it is going to follow you after that flash. And here's that swap we were talking about. FBI down towards that bot side. Bwipo TP's in there, and he's just going to be looking to try to farm souls, but Bwipo knows it, and he is just moving up and away and trying to not allow FBI to get that accelerated soul stacking.
Gotta say, it worked out so well for them, yesterday, and he is getting a lot of farm this time around too. So we'll keep track of it because it was fun. Yeah. It was fun keeping track of the pace that he had yesterday. Meanwhile, Dhokla up there, right back to dodgeball.
And speaking of that pace yesterday, this was the split 3 average for Senna stacks versus how FBI was yesterday as far as the pacing. It was looking really fast.
Okay, but now we gotta fight as River's in some danger, trapped inside of the Dragon Pit, and immediately just exploded by the collapse from FlyQuest.
Yeah, they absolutely deleted him. Flowers, that's objective on top of the first blood here for FlyQuest. Huge start to the game. I mean, River just went in so early and finds himself, queuing into the Dragon Pit to try and get away. But FlyQuest, they just flash in. Bwipo here did invest his flash, so he doesn't have it now, but still should be fine.
Yeah, you're still just up against a Bard and out of mana Senna, so not really a whole lot of pressure on the Sion there, but inspired, picking up that early Chemtech Drake. Not the strongest Drake in the world, but hey, nice early objective, and you claim it 60 seconds before the grubs even spawn, so it's not like it's going to distract you or mess up your tempo on the way to that objective that everybody always wants to contest in the early game.
Yeah, it's just been really fun. I mean, it's kind of a similar thing. We saw last game when it was 100 Thieves with the Nico. They have this ranged advantage in the bot lane 2v2. You're expecting them to be able to get a big edge there. And Busio, just similarly to last game, wanted to go aggressive, wants to put that pressure on to try to make it difficult to play out these lanes. I just like how FlyQuest is constantly able to problem solve these situations. And it just shows their intelligence in how they play these difficult matchups.
All right, you can see 20 seconds on the clock until the Grubs. Inspired, moving through his jungle, picks up his chicken camp. He's going to grab his second spawn of red. Zhao at level 6 with a red buff, ready to fight for Grubs. That's a pretty good green light, I think.
Yeah, definitely is. That's also why they were ready to just, slam the engage there on the dragon fight as well. You know, when you're playing Xin, you want to get these fights in. You want to get aggressive. And so I don't think anyone's going to come actually fight them at the beginning of these Grubs. Let's see if they finish all of them, because River is in the area, but would be kind of dangerous.
Yeah, we've already got 2 Grubs down. 100 Thieves moving their way over now, but the third Grub is in the sights of FlyQuest. Inspired still has his smite ready. That is a 3-0 Grub count for FlyQuest side. Ballbreaker comes in from River, but again, he's going to be the target. He tries to dive back onto Quad. A ton of damage from the FlyQuest mid laner seals his fate now. Inspired might just join him. The Zhao has to flash away, but Massu's going to get rooted up here too. Busio wants to play protection, but Massu is in danger. He fires back and gets one on River. Kill credit over to Busio. FlyQuest makes it an even fight and takes the objective.
Exactly, a 1-for-1 after they already got all 3 Grubs. You can tell the call from 100 Thieves is, hey, we can force this engage because we got a flank from Quid here. So River actually does a good job buffering using his Vi ultimate to get through the counter engage from FlyQuest, but he sustains enough damage in the chase afterwards that then they still get the extra kill here. Yeah, it went into Busio's pockets. They would have loved to have all of the money go into Massu's hands, but they at least got their counter kill there for FlyQuest and got one on the way out.
You know, it kind of reminds me of, FBI posturing very aggressively there. He was looking to see if he could get in range for a Q auto, try to potentially finish. Quid was talking about how they were playing around Otacon and focusing on playing for the fight versus playing for the objective. So some people are like, well, why are you even here? You're showing up late. But that's the buffer you're talking about, Kobe. Vi goes in.
Yeah, he got the engage, and then Quid, used his ultimate and his flash as well to go for it. But since Inspired is able to flash and then dodge while he's in the brush, he lived, meaning that it was only the 1 kill that 100 Thieves got with full committing there.
Massu almost got taken down, did get rooted up by FBI, and Eyla was threatening a wraparound, so Massu gonna have to go back to base, but Quad has moved over here to take over this lane, and you're gonna see Massu very likely heading out towards that top lane. So FlyQuest just moving around the map well, trying to cover each other, and it looks like instead they're gonna send Massu mid, so likely Quad will be answering that top wave with his TP.
And even though a couple of kills exist for either side, the largest individual gold lead is still FBI's Senna in this early game. This is a really good sign for 100 Thieves, who we had concerns about where will the damage come from as the game goes on. If Senna can get fed, if he can be stacking 30%, 40%, 50% ahead of expectation like we saw in his previous Senna performance, this guy could be that big railgun that just blasts through FlyQuest. But now Dhokla's going in after Bwipo, goes back in for another Pathmaker. Not really going to find a whole lot more here. Bwipo continues to trade rather aggressively, but with no mana left in the tank, there's nothing more for the Sion to accomplish.
Nicely done by Dhokla, though. Gets enough mana, goes all out, puts some pressure on, forces the flash. So yes, he can't get the kill, but is able to force that summoner. And it's just a good aggressive play here from Dhokla, who's played really solidly against Bwipo through these 2 games.
Yeah, I like how he walks up on his level up and then, goes aggressive with it. Bwipo, of course, he flashed, but now he's going to have the ultimate advantage for, a small amount of time. We'll see, maybe after the teleport back. There could be something, because you look at the minimap, Inspired is clearing his bot side jungle at the moment.
Okay, we'll see Inspired make his way down around that area, as Quid does get caught by a seismic shove into the unraveled earth. Means Quad gets to chunk him for about half of his total HP. That Sion ulti is going to be saved as Bwipo teleports back down to the tier 1 turret, because there's 15 seconds left until the Drake spawns. Both teams could be turning their attention towards that one here very quickly. Dhokla waiting in the tri-brush, going to find Bwipo waiting for him. Pathmaker has already been used. The CC immunity is not available, but Dhokla getting out of the way of the wind becomes lightning there with some nice footwork means that he will not be the victim of Inspired's 2v1.
So Inspired did cancel his recall there too, and Dragon is available, and it looks like they're just going to start it up here for the Thieves after that.
Okay, so Quad has Weaver's Wall, but he does not have Teleport. It means he's going to have to find a little bit more distance here as Massu gets caught out by the Tempered Fate. Busio with that Unbreakable Will, trying to make sure he can defend his AD carry, but Massu's already down to 50 HP, and Eyla has taken him out. Quad arrives to the fight, but the fight is already over. 100 Thieves get a pick on the enemy AD carry to get the Dragon to boot.
Great punish there on Massu, who had no flash Varus. very easy for Bard to get the ultimate on and set up the follow-up.
And Massu's getting put pretty far behind, right? He's getting pressured heavily. He's only got 87 CS at almost 13 minutes. That's pretty much unheard of for Massu. You know, he's not playing double combat sums. He's playing TP, which obviously can be very nice, but in these situations, not having a ghost, not having cleanse, these types of things can make a really big difference. Does have the ghost blade now to try to be able to have that additional movement speed to try to dodge out on some of this stuff, but Massu is getting preyed upon. And this comp from 100 Thieves is really built well to punish a Varus that's already struggling.
Oh, now Massu again, though. They're not going to give him a break as soon as he steps away from the turret. 100 Thieves beat him back down into the ground.
I foresee another strong FBI Senna game. Here we go, bot.
Yeah, Dhokla's going all out, trying to bring Bwipo away, and he flashes back in front of his escape route there with the ultimate. Wants to prevent the Sion from reaching safety. Dhokla with a commit on the summoner spell extra there, but he cannot do enough damage to really kill the Sion. Both teams trying to make their plays here, but it's 100 Thieves finding more angles early on, particularly on the Massu.
I mean, Dhokla's really going at him. You can tell he wants to prove a point, man. Felt slighted by Bwipo and definitely wants to show him what is up. Has been playing super aggressive. Unfortunately, it does mean at the end of the day, that's your flash and your ulti. Just traded for the ulti, couldn't get the kill.
Everybody is trying to make the big play here in this series. And remember that from today until September 14th, fans can cast their ballots for the Kia Player of the Year, Kia Rookie of the Year, and Kia All-Pro teams using the QR code on your screen. So let us know who you think really runs the Rift. Who is the best player competing here for the LTA Conference Champions, for that title down in Dallas, for the opportunity to represent the region at Worlds After.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, Player of the Year is a player that's in this game. I think, absolutely. So definitely a lot of deserving ones in there to be considered.
Yeah, chat, who do you think is the player of the year, particularly in this game? Let's get a current survey. I hear some cheers.
I heard a Busio yell.
From the crowd already here live. Let's see, though. FBI spamming his usual emotes here in mid lane, and Flowers, you went over it. He is having another extremely good Senna game. He's able to dodge out on the Varus ultimate quite easily here, and it continues stacking at a very nice pace.
The danger of that Varus ultimate, though. Ooh, Bwipo, though. 1 second. Flashes out of the way of the Vault Breaker, but now the Aurora ulti locks him up. Bwipo could be in some serious trouble. 100 Thieves, not only do they make Massu waste his ultimate, but then they find a free kill on Bwipo right as the Rift Herald spawns. This is great timing for the Thieves.
And River, you know, his scoreline isn't looking crazy, but he has been really active. He has been finding some very good plays, and when River is having a good game, this team, I just think, is so successful. They give him so much credit about how creative he is, about how he can find these interesting angles. Good sidestep with the Ghost Blade there from Massu, but you can see his buy record really.
Yeah, now Inspired, though, ready to go in. Busio is the initial target from 100 Thieves, but instead it's a punish from FlyQuest. 100 Thieves feeling themselves just a little bit too much here, and that Rift Herald that looked like it would have been a free thing, a sure thing, now is the target for Inspired. An attempted sidestep there from Quad does not work. Eyla tags him with a Cosmic Binding, and Quad has to flash back over the wall. Now Dhokla's arrived into the fight, and Bwipo's ready to swoop in from the other side. Dhokla goes all out to try to avoid the seismic shove. Inspired staying alive here with the Zhao ultimate. Dhokla here on the front line. Finally dies with the piercing arrow. Massu's on the board, and FlyQuest are winning the fight. Busio goes in for the headbutt pull, and Quid is forced to flash away. Unraveled Earth to make sure that 100 Thieves can't do anything else to follow it up. 2 kills over to the side of FlyQuest ties this game up 4-4.
Yeah, Dhokla just TP'd into such a tough spot there. Really got blasted by FlyQuest right as he arrives, and just opened up an opportunity here for FlyQuest to turn around that fight, to be able to chase in. He had to use all his resources just to try to survive. Ends up getting CC'd up and taken down regardless.
Bwipo will take a couple of punches from River here, but really nothing threatening with Quad right nearby. Obviously, they are standing on top of a ward, so there's no reason that River should ever be in any danger from this. But now River back to the Herald. Again, they had this down to about 5,000 HP when they tried to make the play onto Busio that got turned around.
And he knows because he saw the blue trinket in there, but there's a real trinket ward in there as well, so plenty of vision. Nobody going to overcommit to this. And since Dhokla doesn't have teleport this time around and they sent him back to bottom lane, don't think that 100 Thieves are going to recommit to this one. Bwipo, of course, his ultimate is coming up in a few seconds.
Yeah.
So the Sion actually has a little bit more luxury in going on down to the bottom side. Sometimes, you know, he can leave earlier and get his ult to be able to get over that side of the map. But Big Dokes is getting the push in bottom lane first to apply that pressure.
And I think one of the big things in that last fight for FlyQuest with those kills they picked up was Massu's piercing arrow that got the final hit on Dhokla, put some much needed money in his pocket to get this Varus back to a point of being relevant in this second game. But 100 Thieves will go ahead, seize the opportunity to take the Rift Herald. Nobody from FlyQuest is in the neighborhood, so this should be free.
Yeah, Flowers, you had your double reset there for Massu and Busio. So them back in base, spending that money that you are talking about for Massu and returning right back to the mid lane. So we'll take a look at this next dragon then as far as the move of resources over to the other side of the map. Quid, of course, does have his teleport and also just went for a reset here on the Aurora with ultimate ready. This time around, though, it's a lot easier when Varus does have flash to be able to avoid this very explosive engage from the Vi and the Aurora. So we'll see if Massu can outplay this time around. But Quid might be just the alternate target since Quid has no flash himself.
It's a small thing, but I really like it from FBI. He pushed out mid lane, then he goes and helps with a jungle clear to get more souls with River before going back in.
Hold on, the Chains of Corruption have found a target on River, but now a nice tempered fate. Big engage coming out from 100 Thieves. Dhokla jumping in, Quad's already under pressure. Eyla gets away at the same time, and Quad's the first to die. 100 Thieves maintaining defensive lines for now. Pressure onto FBI in the back, but Inspire can't quite kill him. Eyla gets away with 100. Inspire dies before he can find anybody. FlyQuest barely missing out on so many kills, and 100 Thieves are running him around in circles. Eyla jumps in for another kill. 100 Thieves are going to kill all 5.
The Thieves are playing on the knife's edge in this fight, and it all started with Eyla. Bard ultimate onto both carries here. He nailed them both.
I mean, it started with Eyla. It also ended with Eyla. This guy finding a great bind to keep the team safe. They step up. They spot the carries here. Eyla finds the angle, hits them both. How about this timing as well? Right out of it. In comes Dhokla, flashing into position with the Pathmaker. River goes in as well. The CC was perfectly timed. Eyla gets out, stays alive. FBI is looking like he's cooked, but no. In comes Eyla. Bard's thrown on the wall. Barely survives. The team peels back. What a team fight from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Eyla was playing on range there because he knew Inspired wanted to flash at him, but he didn't have E, so Inspired flashes, but then he can't E Eyla because he moves back out, and he gets this auto off on the other melee champion instead, and Golden Glue is popping off. They played their range so well in this fight, 400 Thieves, and they're rewarded, of course, with a dragon on top of it, but that is Feats Flowers, that is the gold lead, that is the double dragon stacking for them.
That is a Chinese TikTok Bard performance right there. That was absolutely beautiful from Eyla to make that fight work. 3,500 gold lead now is what they have earned off of it. And this is, hold on, Tempered Fate comes in. Eyla looking for another one. Busio stunned up into the wall. 100 Thieves thinking about another angle, but Busio wants to turn it around. Nice double seismic shove coming out from Quad. Rain of Arrows has found the kill to FBI. Quid wants to get away across worlds, but now Inspired swooping in from the other side. The Zhao does not have the flash. He would have to land. The wind becomes lightning over the wall to try to look for the angle. They're not going to find anybody else, but FlyQuest with a pick onto FBI. They're going on to the Otacon.
FlyQuest got a combo of their own onto the 100 Thieves carries, and now this reward is actually going to be huge. It is less kills for FlyQuest off of this fight, but the Otacon is a more powerful single objective. Wonder how much of an effect this flower power will have. 100 Thieves during the Otacon take, though, are trying to make the best of it. They're trying to push both mid and top.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get the mid-tier 2. They're going to get the top tier 1. FlyQuest get the Otacon. They get a kill. They take that bot tier 1. So a lot of trading across the map.
Okay. Teleport coming in down to the bottom side. River now getting jumped on by FlyQuest as FlyQuest is getting jumped on by 100 Thieves. It's two separate fights. River gonna die here. Quad's gonna do the same. So a pick for either side on the mid laner or the jungler in entirely separate spots on the map.
What an action-packed game. Both these teams looking for every single opportunity. You lose a fight, what can we do next? We're gonna play cross-map. We're gonna punish the late recalls. We're gonna constantly look for the next step. Both these teams really playing confidently, and that's something that you love to see. especially when everyone is coming into this expecting that FlyQuest is a heavy favorite. You could see 100 Thieves trying to play more defensive, but that is not their style. That is not how they have success. They need to play with confidence, and they're doing just that.
And that guy right there, Quid, once again, 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. Confidence, you gotta have the confidence. Upgrade that baby to a Medjai's again. I don't care if you've lost your pages in the past, don't worry about it. Upgrade that thing again. Let's get that full burst potential from the Aurora. He already has his 2 items. He has a sizable advantage here with the 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. I want to see, because if you have the full burst damage against the Varus as well as the Taliyah, it's all about tracking their flashes, and then can you get the pincer movement? Can you get those engages?
3,000 gold lead for 100 Thieves feels really good. You can see second full item completions on the board, like for both sides right now. Also critical to note, Eyla does have that Mikhail's to make sure that he can help his teammates if somebody does get tagged by a chain of corruption, particularly because the engage mechanisms for the side of FlyQuest, chains of corruption is like your pick tool. Sion kind of needs to follow up. Alistar needs an angle and particularly really wants his flash. So being able to have that to free whoever gets tagged from the Varus, I think is really big.
Absolutely. I mean, earlier we were also talking about quad miss, but we also got to talk about the other side of it, the Quiggle. It's a battle of the ages here. The Quiggle versus the quad miss. Round 1 went to quad miss, but
Quiggle.
round 2 is looking like Quiggle is out to the early lead.
Quiggle is making a strong run right now with the Dark Seal. It looks like he's going for Bloodletter next as well. Bloodletter's Curse, the triple mask build. In the meantime, though, here we go. The pedal difference is actually right above 1,800 at the moment, and that is just the damage. That is just the
adaptive force.
Flat adaptive force. It is not taking into account the experience as well. That is nice.
Or the
bonus.
proc.
Yeah, so it's a lot of extra power that FlyQuest was able to earn by grabbing that Otacon for themselves. You compare 1,800 gold's worth of adaptive force value to a 2,800 gold lead for 100 Thieves. It makes the game a lot closer than it might appear just at a cursory glance of the scoreboard. We have 30 seconds until the next dragon spawns. We have 30 seconds until Baron spawns as well. And if 100 Thieves can earn this Drake, now they're at soul point. All of a sudden, the game becomes a lot scarier and a lot faster for FlyQuest. Quid gets jumped on. Chains of Corruption fly out, but they will not find him. Quid gets over the wall there, has to expend the flash as FlyQuest force out a critical summoner right before the objective.
Yeah, Busio spent his flash as well. We'll see if he has something with that summoner spellbook ready, and he's going to swap over to Exhaust, so that can be critical if he can time it well on someone like Quid when he's going in.
Dhokla ready to face check here into the brush, but he goes over the Unraveled Earth. Dhokla's already down to half HP, but the Tempered Fate doesn't get a whole lot done here just yet. Busio backing away as Bwipo charges into the middle of the fight. Everybody on 100 Thieves scrambling as Quid steps out of the way of the seismic shove. Inspired very low, going to be taken down. To be careful, but Massu's already died. Busio's about to follow. 100 Thieves are steamrolling the #1 team in the LTA. These fights are just not close, and 100 Thieves smacks them around 3-1.
100 Thieves play dive so well. You can tell they're focused on the enemy carries here. In this one, even though Dhokla starts out really early, and he flashes to ult the Sion back, and River is helping him on the Sion until the opening comes up for River to flash ult Massu to help Quid finish him off, and that victory in that fight should result in the Baron for the Thieves.
Baron as the reward for that fight. Not even the 3-for-1 that I said. It was 3 for nothing. Nobody on 100 Thieves dying in that one. Feeling so strong in these fights. So confident. We've been talking about 100 Thieves team fighting during this entire Miracle run. They might fall down early in the games, but they have the confidence, they have the hands, they have the team play to fight their way back into the games, even against a squad like FlyQuest that has been so far above everybody else for the rest of the year. 100 Thieves is truly rising to the occasion.
We can see it one more time. This is what you're talking about, Kobe. Dhokla goes in, and it's looking like it's going to be a really bad start for him, but Flash ults, pulls Bwipo away to the side, and FBI and Quid are doing such a good job of putting pressure onto these carries. Inspired goes forward onto Quid, but the seismic shove is narrowly dodged, and then there is the Flash ult into the backline, but we're back to live. Great sidestep on the Bard ult.
Yeah, Tempered Fate hits nobody, but Bwipo is isolated. He's in danger now. 100 Thieves looking for the pick on the enemy top laner. He might be Sion, but he's not feeling that tanky. Dhokla just creates creating space so that nobody else on FlyQuest can get anywhere close. Dhokla still got half HP. The Aurora ulti comes through. Inspired Zhao just not able to get a whole lot done here either, as 100 Thieves are marching straight into the base with a 7,000 gold lead. Bwipo's still dead for another 40 seconds, and the mid lane inhibitor falls 27 minutes into the game.
The Thieves are just constantly on the attack. And
Oh, he's letting them know!
All right, we had the Quiggle. What is the FBI spam of emote?
Well, the Quiggle originated from FBI spam dancing on the Xayah. It was his imitation of that, so maybe we'll get the return as 100 Thieves feel like they are on the precipice of tying this series up.
100 Thieves now with the pressure on the tier 2 in the top lane, just taking everything they can with the remainder of this Red Bull Baron power play before they go for a reset.
And they're constantly on the attack. They're looking to even just engage on the Sion, start working away slowly on the Sion's health, get him into a bad position, and then fully engage.
And we got to talk about this Cinderella story. You know, these are some of the greatest kind of Cinderella runs we've had in North American League of Legends history, all the way starting back, you know, with Cloud9 in 2013 summer. This CLG win against TSM in finals. Yes, they were a second seed in the regular season, but it just kind of seemed impossible to take down TSM in that era. EG, one of my favorite ever runs with Inspired, back with that Danny JoJo roster, and this 100 Thieves roster trying to pull off that big run too.
Inspired's already down to half HP though. The Tempered Fate has collided. Inspired on the front line about to die, but immediately 100 Thieves collapse. There's nowhere for FlyQuest to go. River might just drop here. Quid in a little bit of danger, but he gets back away. Massu finally finds a snipe, but it's going to be at the cost of his very own life. FlyQuest, they tried, they died, and 100 Thieves hold the smoking gun. Bwipo's the last one left running away, and 100 Thieves are ready to end this second game.
Quid is still after him too. Quid was so low getting in there. He survives in the end, and 100 Thieves, they clap immediately back.
Bwipo's not gonna have anything to say about this one. Dhokla shoves him back as he tries to channel a decimating smash. The Nexus turrets are not going to be any detriment to the 100 Thieves victory march. There's still plenty of time left on the respawns for FlyQuest. 100 Thieves have made it to the Nexus. 100 Thieves have made it a series, and they'll tie us up after 2 games.